Hello everyone, welcome to a fresh videocast episode of My Emotions Matter. And today we'll be talking about change. Change is the only constant in life, and this statement has been proved by the current onset of the pandemic. The coronavirus has changed our daily lives for this current moment, and there are many changes that are likely to occur in the future as well. Even after the pandemic gets over, there are going to be various changes, both in the economic front as well as the emotional front. Let's talk a little more about emotional front. Now, people are going to view their lives, their work, their social circle differently. As a result of which, there's going to be a lot of social changes in the way we work, in the way we gather together, in the way we look at each other as well. And today we'll be discussing exactly about that. And today we have a very special guest with us, Dr. Amrit Thapa. Welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you.
So, giving his introduction, Dr. Thapa is a Ph.D. and he's a lecturer of International Education Development Program at Graduate School of Education, University of Pennsylvania. And he is with us today, and we are extremely grateful for his presence.
मलाई पनि धेरै खुसी लागेको छ. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm honored to be part of this.
Thank you so much, sir. So heading towards our conversation, given the current onset of pandemic, one very likely change that is going to occur in the future is a change in the way humans trust each other. Human trust मा चाहिँ अब एकदमै ठुलो change आउँछ because like people will start looking at social gatherings differently. People will start viewing concerts or even games or places where we all gather together very differently. So what are some ways in which people could emotionally prepare themselves for this change, and what are some ways in which people could still enhance that element of trust despite whatever is going on?
Okay, that's a great question. So you very nicely put it. Change is the only constant. We all know that. So in terms of trust, I feel actually I have a positive feeling about it. I wanted to view it in a positive way. I feel after every crisis, it leaves with us some good lessons to take away, right? Whether it be 2015 earthquake in Nepal, or whether it's depression in 2008, or whether it's COVID-19. So, jaile yo thulo crisis around actually it unites us. It brings us together. Aren't we able to see that the whole world is actually united? We're all working towards one common cause, one enemy we are fighting, that's COVID-19. Everybody is after it, and we all are united. And that's why I feel I have a positive feeling about it. It will, we should appreciate that feeling of unity. We should appreciate that feeling of oneness, right? So jaba हामीले एकत्व भावना आउँछ, जब oneness feeling हुन्छ, then trust will automatically come. So it doesn't matter concert or games or seminars or conferences. This virus thing, I personally feel I'm not a big expert in in the public health, but whatever I gathered, I feel that this is one of those situations. It will go. It has its cycle, and it will go. So we will be back to normal, but we can be a better human being. We can appreciate this unity. We can appreciate how nice it is to care each other. How nice it is to be for each other. That feeling we can preserve, and we can treasure. That's what I feel.
So I think a very important learning from your answer is that we cannot forget that we are all united. Like, we might be in a position where we have to socially distance ourselves, but then again, we are united. The world is unitedly fighting against one enemy, that is COVID-19. And this feeling of unity should be something that we should take away even after the pandemic gets over. That's a very, very important learning. So, and having said that, now that the pandemic is here, and now that we are required to socially distance distance ourselves, we can see that both educational institutions and corporate institutions are now using online mediums to continue their operations. We have seen that various institutions are now using the online mediums and they have now explored it. So, what are some likely changes that are going to occur in our work culture now that we've explored these online avenues? What are some likely changes that will occur even after the pandemic gets over?
Sure. So केही कुराहरू जुन मैले अब्जर्भ गरेको एक I think it has taught us that a lot can be accomplished virtually or online, right? So it taught us that, and we are forced to actually do that, and then we have learned that we can accomplish a lot online. As you know, even in the worldwide, we have been actually talking about this virtual university for a while. But now we have been forced to conduct classes online, both at the school level and at the college level. So it has definitely shown that, and then we have got more confidence in that, number one. Number two, I think personally, I feel that there is nothing to substitute, the regular environment that we use it. There is that feeling of human touch, right? So I don't think it will replace that, but it is a good substitute, right, for scenarios like this, for situations like this. So however, I think there are a couple of things that we need to keep in mind. Number one, that it will also introduce both more screen time for us. We will be actually looking at the screen for long hours, and we need to be mindful of our both physical and emotional and psychological health, because it has implications on our circulation, on physical respiratory aspects, nervous aspects. So we need to find ways to keep us healthy. We need to find ways to get some physical activity for us. And in terms of social distancing, I know that we won't be able to come together in situations like this, like we had been, but people have actually found ways to do virtual celebrations. I think there are, where there is a will, there is a well, right? So if we have the good intentions, we'll be able to find ways to be able to celebrate or to be able to do good things around on what we have been doing. Obviously, that physical aspect is missing. And then two other things that I would like to point out are, one, the security aspect will be of concern, right? So we already know in platforms like Zoom, there have been a lot of cases of hacking and all that. And then privacy aspect. Now that it's so easy to talk to people, so easy to record. So we need to be mindful of privacy of people, and we need to be cautious about the security aspects. Other than that, I think, so these aspects will surface as we step into these online platforms. However, as I said earlier, we need to be mindful about keeping us healthy, both physically and emotionally and mentally.
That's a very important learning. I think now that we have explored all these online avenues, we know the power of the online mediums. Like we are having Easter celebrations in America through virtual mediums. So we know that power. But having said that, we also need to take care of our physical, emotional, and psychological health at this point of time, because connecting virtually is not a substitute for connecting face to face. Even though it is something that is compulsory right now, in the long run, there's no substitute for face to face interaction, and we'll have to be mindful about that. We'll have to be mindful about taking care of our physical health, because whenever we are working virtually, we might end up having days where we do not even get out of our bedroom. So that reduces our physical activity completely. So we'll have to be more mindful of taking care of our physical health, and we'll also have to make sure that we are taking active steps to take care of our emotional and psychological health when using virtual mediums. That's a very, very important learning. So, and as Easter is being celebrated virtually in America, tomorrow, that is Sunday. In Nepal too, New Year is around the corner. So New Year is falling on Monday, and this year people will not be able to gather in the social circle and celebrate New Year. So what are some mindful ways that you would like to suggest in which we Nepalese could celebrate this New Year 2077?
Sure. I think we all know that, right? So this is a very unprecedented time. We haven't seen something like this before. Obviously, there were incidences like SARS and Spanish flu some time ago, but something like this at a global level when like most of the countries were locked down, we haven't seen, at least in my lifetime, I haven't seen it. So my take on it is that we should adhere to the laws of the land. We should adhere to what the government is saying. We should adhere to what the experts are saying. They are saying that social distancing is working. Social distancingले काम गरिरहेको छ धेरै कन्ट्रीमा, युरोपमा, युनाइटेड स्टेट्समा, also like हाम्रो कन्ट्री नेपाल, इन्डिया हाम्रो साउथ एसियन कन्ट्रिजहरूमा यदि हामीले अलि अगाडि नै लकडाउन नगरेको भए we would have seen a lot of serious cases. So त्यही कारण I feel that it is very, very important to maintain the social distancing, at the same time celebrate virtually, like how people around the world are doing it, right? You can celebrate a birthday virtually or online. You can celebrate a festival like Easter virtually. And you can celebrate Nepalese New Year also virtually. You can call your friends. You should be with your family. आफ्नो फ्यामिलीसँग घरभित्रै बस्ने अनि आफ्नो नियर एन्ड डियर वान्सलाई फोनमा कुरा गर्ने अथवा भिडियो च्याट गर्ने. And we should not compromise on your health. We should not compromise on our family's health. And we should not compromise others' health. And I think this is a time when we should be very mindful of this. The other day I was seeing one small documentary, and it said a long time ago when our forefathers were called for a war, they grabbed their instruments and they went for war. And now it is also like a war. It's a war against virus. So what is our duty at this point of war? What are we asked to do? We are asked to be at home and make ourselves and our families and our dear ones safe. So at least we should do that and not compromise health of others. So this we should really strictly adhere to that, and it will go away. It will pass in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And so that's what I feel.
So I think one very important key takeaway from your answer is that people should understand that social distancing is important. And even though these celebrations are equally important, we should not forget that we have to socially distance for our safety as well as the safety of others. Having said that, social distancing does not necessarily mean emotional distancing as well. We can find out ways through which we can emotionally connect with our loved ones. Maybe we can have like virtual communication with them. Maybe we can call them. Maybe we can video chat with them. But maintaining social distancing while doing these celebrations is very, very important. So, sir, what are some changes that are likely to occur in everyday lives of people after this pandemic gets over? And how can people emotionally prepare themselves for these regular changes?
Sure. So यो very difficult time हो. For example, धेरै मान्छेहरूले आफ्नो jobs गुमाइरहेका छन्. A lot of people are losing their dear ones, right? Economy is in doldrums. It is a tough time. It is no doubt a very, very difficult time. So it will create stress among people. That is for sure. It is no joke. A lot of families are going through very tough times, so we should be aware of that. And I think I wanted to start with Plato's saying that there is a line that says, it's Plato or Aristotle, be kind to everyone, for everyone is struggling with something or other, right? So I think we should be kinder. We should be kinder to people. That should be our approach going forward. We should be more caring to people. And talking about stress, science has demonstrated with hundreds and thousands of evidence that that chronic stress is not good for anything. Chronic stress is not good for health. Chronic stress is not good for productivity at work. Chronic stress is not good for relationships. So it's not good. So it is relevant to our work. My emotions matter. So we should be, I think, after amidst this, as well as after going through this, we should try to practice these things in our life. One is self-awareness, right? We should be aware of our emotions. Like, am I stressed? Um, am I so stressed that I'm not able to do work properly? Am I so stressed that my health is being compromised? Am I so stressed that my relationship with my family is not going well? So we should be aware of that. So that is the starting point, self-awareness. How do you be self-aware? See yourself, look at your thoughts, look at your health, look at your productivity at work, look at your reactions to what people say, look at how you respond to situations. So that is self-awareness. Second is self-management. So we all the living beings, including animals, birds, plants, actually adjust to changing environments, right? That's called adaptation. So we should be able to adapt to new changes. So let's say somebody lost his or her job, and we should be able to have ceiling on our desires. So maybe let's say we were spending 5,000 rupees for our expenditure. Maybe we should now cut down to 4,000 or 3,000. And we should be loving and caring to each other and not isolate ourselves. It is time to actually check out to our fellow neighbors, not only our loved ones, who might be by himself or herself, who might be lonely. How are you doing? And just by asking, how are you doing? Can I be of any help? That itself will be a great relief to that person. So we should be able to self-manage our resources. We should be able to manage our time, and we should not beat too much on us. We can only do so much. So we should take care of these and manage our time, resources, our emotions accordingly. And finally, we should have self-advocacy. In other words, if we feel at a point where we need help, that our emotions are overwhelmed, we should seek help. And help could be as simple as talking to your spouse, talking to your children, talking to your friends who are ready to listen to your problems and concerns. And I have friends in psychoanalytics who constantly tell me that, just if somebody is there to listen to your problems and concerns, that actually takes away 50% of the problems. So at this time, there will be stress, there will be problems, there will be difficulties, and we should not, those who have the capabilities should be able to reach out to others who are in need, and those who are in need, those who find it stressful, should be able to talk to others whom they trust. And just by letting it go, just by sharing, it relieves more than 50% of the stress. And we should be mentally ready to be able to adapt to the changing environment. We cannot say, it used to be like that and why it is like this, because life is all the time change. I mean, I was a boy sometime again, and now I am an adult, and I cannot say why I am not boy again. I should readily accept that I am an adult now. So likewise, we should be able to adapt. And again, bottom line is be able to appreciate that oneness among each other, and then promote that love and care.
I think one very important key takeaway from your answer is that we'll have to learn how to be kind to deal with all the changes that are going to come by. We'll have to learn to be kind to others as well as kind to ourselves. We need to, and one very important point that you made was we need to understand that we are not, it would be better if we do not emotionally isolate ourselves at this point in time. Yes, we need to socially distance ourselves, but that does not mean that we need to emotionally isolate ourselves. We can lend a we can lend our ears to someone and listen to their problems with a very kind heart, and that could help them. We should also be able to ask for help if we need it. I think that level of preparation, I think that in itself would help people adapt to change that is gonna come by in the future. And as you already said, that people are now going to lose their jobs, and people are very very anxious about the economic changes that are going to take place. So what are some ways in which people can emotionally prepare themselves for the financial changes that are going to occur in the future?
Sure, I think we talked a little bit about this already, so I'll try to keep it short. Actually, I am an economist by training, but I will not talk about like models and sophisticated models and solutions here. I think it's just the common sense, right? We already talked about this, adapting to the new change. We have gone through big economic fluctuation in the past, so this is not the only time. Like World War One, World War Two, Great Depression, many such things. Even like the recession of 2008 was a big one. So my feeling is this is the nature of the economy. It will sometimes prosper and reach at its peak, and sometimes it will plummet, and it will be very very bad. But the nature of the economy, many macroeconomists know that it will rebound. Some point it will rebound. It will come when the virus settles. It will come. The only struggle, the challenge is for those people who actually rely on this month-to-month, income for sustenance. So those who have the savings should be able to use that savings, right? So those who do not have the savings, again, it is time to cut down on or practice that ceiling on desires. Number one, and just be able to accommodate your needs. Number two, again, like we talked about, self-advocacy. So if there is a need, maybe you should talk to your families, friends, local government, or what. And I'm not sure what exactly the government is planning to, how the government is planning to help people. I know in developed countries, they are actually giving some cash out for those people who are unemployed due to this situation. But it is tough. It is very, very tough. And but one thing that I wanted to say is that it will come back, if not in months, but at least a year or so. My hope and feeling and prayer is that it will come back. So not to beat ourselves too much, and just to have the positive attitude will help. Because if we panic and if we just take too much stress, it will get things just worse, right? It, as I said before, it will make things worse on multiple dimensions. But if we are able to take this in a positive attitude, with that optimistic approach that this too shall pass, and it will be normal again, then it will at least prevent from getting bad to worse or worse to worst, right? So I know it's very tough and it's difficult to answer this question because a lot of things are uncertain at this point of time. We are in an uncharted territory. But whatever it is, having a positive attitude is always, always helpful.
So I think there are three important key takeaways that I take from your answer. One, people should be able to put a ceilings to their desire. People need to be self-aware in case of their financial status as well. And people will have to understand that maybe now cutting down on their expenses is the way to save them. The second is asking for help. So people should not shy away from asking for help. And even if it is for financial help, people should not shy away from it. And third is to take it very positively. People should not panic at this point of time, because panicking is only going to worsen out situations. So keeping yourself calm and having a positive attitude even when you're going through that financial crisis, or even when you're worried about the financial situation, is very, very important, because panicking and worrying is going to lead to no positive results at all. Thank you so much, Dr. Thapa, for being a part of this episode. Are there any final thoughts on this that you'd like to tell our audience?
No, I just wanted to say that I'm very impressed. I think you guys are doing tremendously good works. Um, the works in social emotional learning is very few, particularly in a country like Nepal. We have started to acknowledge how to handle our emotions. We have started to talk about our emotions. So at this point of time, where there is so much of added stress here because of the current situation, there is so much of toughness and so much of confusion and chaos. I think I think talking about these things would probably bring some help. And as I said before, I think emotions do matter, and we need to be aware of those emotions. Uh, we need to seek help if needed. We need to talk about this. Continue the good works, and my prayer and good thoughts to all my fellow Nepalese and all friends around, that with positive attitude and adhering to the rules and guidelines given by the health experts as well as the government, will be able to overcome this difficulty, and this too shall pass, and normal days will come again. So please stay safe and take care of yourself and each other. And thank you again for this opportunity to share my
Thank you
thoughts.
so much for appreciating us, sir. Thanks a lot. And hopefully, we'll all get through this together. And this is our request to the audience as well. Please, please, please take care of yourselves. Please protect yourselves. Please sanitize yourselves. And please stay inside your homes. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much to our audience. We'll see you again next week. Until then, bye.